and CEO of A³&Co for consultancy and industrial excellence. Welcome, Amr. He's joining us from the UAE. Welcome on board, and please drive us through your experience and your case study with your company on reducing the GHG emissions, but also helping others to reduce the GHG emissions. I can stop sharing and let you share, but I can also continue sharing, and the slides that you have sent is already embedded here, as you wish.
You can continue sharing. Thank you very much,
Perfect.
Abdurrahman, and thanks for Spark for having me. And it's always a pleasure to be with UNGC. And it's very hard coming after a great presentation done before me. And I hope I will be in line to what was shown before. So I'll simply start with a brief introduction of our company. And then I'll move to a global decarbonization narrative, because heavy industry and high emitters are a bit different from other industries in decarbonization initiatives. They have their own tailored approach. Then I'll talk about the silver bullet, the cement plant of the future, and I will follow that up with our complete decarbonization solution by A³&Co, and then the case study in UAE, one of our actual decarbonization cases, and then I'll close with a conclusion on the research. So please, Abdurrahman, the next slide. So before I go for the global cement decarbonization narrative, I would like to shed a bit of light on our company. We are a medium-sized company. We are based in UAE. We have headquartered in Dubai, and we have offices in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and soon in London as well. We operate in global. We have projects in North America, in the States and Canada, in Europe, in UK and Spain, and in Africa, in around 21 countries, and in GCC, in Saudi Arabia and UAE, and Central Asia as well. So we are currently dealing with around 30+ million tons of CO2, and we have been recently recognized by the UNFCCC as a fast-forward company and one of the companies having a major impact on the decarbonization sector. We are generally cement for cement people, so we focus mainly on the cement sector. So from a global cement decarbonization narrative, yes, next slide, please. Yes, so the narrative for decarbonization in the cement sector lies in three main, I would say, narratives. One is the replacement of cement, which I call it the nice to try approach, because we are talking about 4.2 billion tons of material that is sole backbone of development on the global world. It's been there for more than 100 years. One of the cheapest available building materials, and one of the most reliable as well. So replacing that 4.2 billion within the coming 5 years and even the coming 10 years is almost impossible. So yes, we welcome innovation, and we look forward for synthetic replacement material, and we push forward for any materials that can reduce the carbon, but this is not an achievable target on the near or even the midterm future. The next context is the political approach, which I call it the easy to say approach, which it's an easy and direct statement: capture and store carbon, the CCUS solution, or even the worse, the CCS solution. Unfortunately, it's very expensive, very low TRL from a technology point of view, and there's no way that it will catch up on the near term 2030 1.5 degree pathway, because simply if we started projects today to cover the required 2.6 billion tons of CO2, they will only start in 8 years, even if we have the money and if we have the lines to transport and if we have the place to store. So this is a less practical solution. It's very politically accepted because it's easy to narrate. But Now we come to the industrial reality, which is the hardest path, unfortunately, which requires innovative solutions in the cement industrial technology to embed the decarbonization in the DNA of the cement sector. And this is an approved approach. It has been approved in many cases, like the case I will show, that we can reduce up to 40+% of CO2 before 2030, thus staying on the 1.5 degree pathway and getting to near zero by 2050 with remaining carbon below the 15% of the total emission, which is more or less what is required by the cement sector to reach carbon neutrality at least by 2050. Please, Abdulrahman. Yes. Now the silver bullet. What I said about the technical approach. Is it doable? We'll see in the next slide that it is a technology doable approved scenario. So the future cement plant is a plant that embraces digital maturity and sustainability to earn competitive advantage. This approach does not only reduce carbon, but it also reduces cost, thus adding to the competitiveness of the sector and securing its sustainability going forward. In opposite to the CCUS approach, which adds a lot of impact on the cost of cement, reaching up to plus 150 euros per ton added cost, which of course deprives the sector of its competitiveness and underlines a lot the sustainability of the business going forward. This approach is simply split into four main levers. Three of them are achievable as we speak and on the near term targets according to SBTi before 2030, which is thermal energy efficiency, electrical energy efficiency, clinker quality product portfolio developments, alternative fuels and alternative raw materials. This traditional levers does not only impact decarbonization, but also leverages circular economy, which adds a dual benefit to the cement sector. Digital levers, starting from end-to-end automated process up to interactive decision modeling, which is the way of the future, which is an OPEX-based approach with minimum cost impact on the industry and with a major impact on the organization. Last part is the advanced levers, which are a bit capital intensive, yet still within the reach of the normal capex threshold of a cement plant, waste heat recovery, clean energy, light cement, refined clay, activated CMs, alternative building materials. Those technologies on those three levels are sufficient to bring down around 80% or more of the cement industry decarbonization as we speak. The last part is the high investment levels. Those are the levels of very high investments now. Can you step back a bit, please, Abdurrahman? Less than 1 minute. Yes, thank you. So those levels are oxy-fuel, CCUS, direct air capture, electrification, and hydrogen fuels. So those technologies are still in their early TRL stages. They are expensive, hard to deploy, and hard to scale as well. We advise that we see that these technologies will start to pick traction and have a real impact after 2030, I would say, actually between 2035 and 2045. The abatement cost of having the traditional levers, digital levers, and advanced levers is less than $10 impact to the cement sector. Yes. Now we move forward to the digitization solution that A³&Co offers. This solution is this solution is a 360-degree solution. We start, as mentioned in the earlier presentation, by a baseline. So the first thing we do is baselining. We baseline on three dimensions: carbon baseline, so you have the GHG footprint of the asset. Second is decarbonization scenarios, which are technology and capital and cost driven scenarios. And finally, the S and ESG, because you cannot have decarbonization without including the human factor of the transition as well to ensure sustainability of the business. Second, we move for the implementation of the projects where we inject three different levers into that solution, reducing carbon while reducing cost technologies, which is the design and conceptualization of the projects. We support our clients also with the investment sourcing through either national, international funding levers with IFC or EBRD or the likes, or through capital powerhouses or BOT solutions from OEMs. And we also support them with the EPC project support from OEM suppliers, certified and recognized contractors in GCC or in Africa or in China. Finally, we take them for a full net zero transition roadmap, which is SBTI approved, and we support their carbon credit management to trade carbon, whether it's on a VCM or CC or a compulsory carbon. Next, please. Now, is that actually doable or it's only nice to say? This is a real example in UAE, a company that is one of the most, I would say, prominent companies in UAE for cement industry, one of the biggest players in UAE. This roadmap is the actual roadmap. This is a real figure. They will close 2030 below SBTI target with an intensity of 0.46, moving from an intensity of 0.68 in 2023, and they will be below even the stretched UAE target that will be in the next NDC, which is almost aligned with SBTI with a 17% reduction of CO2. They will reduce around 31% from the base year of 2023, implementing low capex programs that have an impact of less than $4 per ton on their production. Moving beyond 2030, we will start some heavier capex projects like waste heat recovery, oxy-fuel, partial oxy-fuel, and then main full oxy-fuel after 2040. The impact of this is around another $6 per ton on their operations, and they will close 2050 by a residual amount of carbon of 0.2 only, which is very close to zero, and without implementing many of the expensive levels. You could see on the right some details of that. You would see that the total capex required is around 117 LMU, which local money unit, which is AED in that case. So less than $30 million, they will be able to achieve this 2030 compliance with SBTI and almost net zero by 2050. The total capex implemented between 2030 and 2050 is 520 million AED, which is around $120 million, still much lower than CCUS projects being promoted all around. So it is doable, it is achievable with numbers that are within the reach and achievement of a cement plant. Next, please. Next, please. Yes. Finally, the conclusion and the call for action. First thing that we call the cement sector to do is a global carbon standard for the cement industry. One of the main challenges currently is that we don't have one standard to measure the carbon in cement industry, and hence a lot of lack of benchmarking and a lot of slowness in moving forward, and even a hard hurdle in front of all the regulations being applied. SBTI, as mentioned earlier, and I echo, that is the right path to standardize our GHG emissions measurements and decarbonization roadmaps. Focus on the near term. If we do not achieve near zero by 2030, if we do not achieve the 1.5 degree pathway by 2030 SBTI targets, there will be no 2050. We will have a completely different projection models after that. Fourth is BAT adoption globally. An asset that is of technology that is of high intensity done before the 2000s cannot aim for a CCUS. This is a waste of money and a waste of time. The best thing is to move to the best applicable techniques, which have lower intensity and better efficiency, and consequently better integration into circularity. Finally, if we want to push the high emitter sector towards a green production, green procurement policies need to be adopted across first the public sector procurement policies, and second, across major developers across the world to achieve a green built environment. Finally, cement decarbonization is not a public or a state problem. It's a global industrial challenge, and everyone needs to tap in to support that. And there is a lot of traction and momentum happening towards that. And I hope that the next COP will, which I know that the standard is going to be discussed, as well as the SBTI and the new NDCs of many of the Middle East and African countries are updated towards an SBTI trajectory. So I hope that this COP will result on a better move. And I thank you very much for the time. And I hope I could make some impact to this part.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amr. It has really been very rich presentation. And please, for everyone who has any